I think I would just start by first asking you if you kind of got the context. If you kind of got the context of the email. There are a lot of acronyms that I didn't feel like I had to explain. But did you maybe get the gist of the whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I did.
You did.
Yes, there are a lot of acronyms, and someone was not very happy, and he did mention.
Yeah. So just to, I think I already told you basically what it was about. That it was about process, and I think that the email thread was even longer, and I think I got to see what they were discussing at a later point. And it immediately raised my alarm because I thought that it's not very efficient the way they want us to do things, and I wanted to explain that to the client. And so that's the email that I wrote. Maybe just to give you a context, more context about this, and I'm not saying this as an excuse, but this is the time where. So I was working for a vendor who had a client, and then at some point I joined the client, working with them, still as a contingent worker. I wasn't a full-time employee, but they basically needed to hire someone among their vendors. So I was working with them, and they were sort of my colleagues. And then when my contract finished, I went back to the vendor, and I was still working on that account that used to be kind of like my employer in a way. So, not saying that because of that I should have used the language that I used, but I did feel a little bit closer to them. And another important thing, just so that you know where I was in my mind at the time, I think it was the time where I was very much considering of leaving the job, and I wanted to do something on my own, and I was really trying to be efficient about my work. And what else did I want to say? Oh, that's actually related to another email. So I was pretty much confident. I didn't have almost like anything to lose. So maybe that's why I didn't think like I need to play it nicely or anything like that. Yeah, but that's basically it. So I'm not sure where we're going to start. So the first email is from the client, so that's not much. So let's start with the part that I'm looking at right now. Or actually, no, let me start by asking you, how did you feel about, I think maybe this is the part where it gets a little bit aggressive.
Yeah,
right?
I do have a question for you.
Yes, please.
So my question is, what was the intention? What was your intention with the tone of that email? Were you truly not caring, or do you think that you would get the client to listen to the efficiencies? Because it almost feels like you are venting your frustration.
Oh yes.
But in that, you were not. You were actually kind of stomping on the deal because of the approach you took. So what was really your intention? Since you're saying you were ready to leave, nothing to lose, was it more of just the venting?
Okay, so as I'm looking at this email, I think my first intention, and this is the first email before it turned into full frustration. This is where I was maybe trying to understand it. I'm not sure if the language in this email that you're looking at right now, if this was okay-ish to you. But I think I was really frustrated by the whole efficiency that the client is basically asking us to do. Personally, it wasn't impacting me because I wasn't one of the 50 plus people who had to do the duplicate work. But to me, it sounded like it's absolute nonsense. Like, why would the people have to do it? And at the same time, the client is basically paying extra because they have to pay for the work, right? That we do duplicate thing. What was my intention? Yes, like not that it matters at this point, so I guess I already thought that it's not going to change anything. But maybe I just wanted to, I think in the first email, sorry if I'm jumping back and forth, I think in the first email I was kind of like just inquiring just to be sure that I understand it. And then I just wanted to, like I say here, I just want to say my input for the record. Like, hey, like what you're doing is actually very inefficient and stupid.
Right.
I think that was my point.
It came across, right?
Yeah, and definitely there's probably a lot of ego behind that. Because I was the one who discovered this inefficiency. I was the one who probably proposed how to do it differently. Right. But the client still said no because they were scared that something might change or like it could break the whole program or something like that.
No, I think you were on the right track at the moment where you were listing the numbers, how many people this will impact.
Right.
But where I would turn it around, to take out the emotions and basically add in the dollar amounts.
Right.
So it would save you this much, it will bring this much, it will reflect in faster turnaround time, it will, all of those things. If you listed that facts only, and no emotion and no questions, I think you would see a different impact.
Right.
But that's kind of, because I was happy to see where you said, I've calculated the decision will negatively affect at least 50 people. I was thinking, that's good, but you should have put the dollar signs under it.
That's the executive speaking. I think it's not that bad, and especially when you put in perspective all the background information that you just gave us, that you work there, so you know them. You have more relationship than just a vendor and a client. So by introducing your politically incorrect views, which you already state, they know you probably, I suppose. And they know the guy, they know who they're talking to, and they wouldn't expect something else. So you're going to be blunt. It's okay. It's very inefficient. Most probably.
Did you say it's very inefficient or very efficient?
No, the process is very inefficient, and you want to correct that. You saw something that you disagree with, and you want to make your point. It's most probably, had you read it another time or have it read by someone else, you wouldn't have gone without some minor edits. What I understood less is the reaction of the client. Like, I'm going to escalate that. I'm going forward for our listeners and auditors. But there's a response to that where the client says they're really not happy and they're going to escalate.
Right.
So,
well, this just to be clear, so this actually is a response from my manager.
Okay.
I think it's not from the client, so that's why she said that I might be escalated to VM, which would be the client. I actually do have a reply from the client. I didn't include this in this email because she wasn't reacting. She didn't want to fight back, of course, professionally. But I thought I would just cut it at this point with my email. I'm wondering, Ilan, if you think, because what Vera said, to put the dollars, we hear that a lot, and I think it makes sense. But is it really the main important for the client? Like, if you speak in the terms of dollars and how much money they can save, or are there different alternatives?
If you want to get your message across, then certainly you want to talk what speaks to them. And if they have vendors doing it inefficient an inefficient process and it doesn't cost them more, they don't care. I mean, it's not them doing the work. So there, knowing that they can slash their cost by 2, that it means a lot. So certainly for your purpose of getting what you want, that possibly would be more efficient. But it's kind of it's kind of here implicitly, but when you say that the benefits usually outweigh the goods. I don't think it was that bad.
I think I would still kind of, like Ilan said, what matters to the listener, right? If the listener is an engineer on the client side, they will support you in this and help you. If it's a manager, the money will speak.
That's also another Andre that we have here. I mean, it was 7-8 years ago, so different person.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right, totally. Now it's like, oh well, okay.
Now he's become legendary.
I think at that point in my life, I was very, very cocky, and also very confident in the way that I want to work. And I, like, the other email that I have prepared for you is also related to efficiency, and it's more about meetings, like how I didn't like meetings, and I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that I don't support having meetings that don't bring any value and that are just wasting people's time. But yeah, because I was too confident or cocky, however you want to call it, I was not communicating in a very professional way. And I don't know. Like when I was reading the emails, I was really like cringing. Like how could I have written something like that? Like I even wrote an email, like a message to my manager. Like, how could you tolerate me for such a long time like this? Like, such a pain in the ass. But yeah, the question that I had for you is, I think, twofold. So, I mean, we already discussed, okay, like if you have something, put the dollar amount to it. How do you normally, I mean, besides that, how do you let client know in case you think that they are not doing the right thing besides the dollars? Or are there cases where you are just quiet? Does it depend on the client? Like where I don't know, if you propose an alternative to what the client says they want, it might already be viewed, even if you do it the nice way, it might already be viewed negatively. So are there cases where you just like you are the yes person, like whatever the client says, it's a yes? Or do you always try to say that, okay, I think maybe there's a better way, and you explain it and put the dollar amounts of it?
No, I think maybe it's coming with age, but I think now the client knows what they want and they're going to get what they want. And there comes a point where you can't care less. So it's you want to pay for something that it's not good. Go ahead. Absolutely.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
You can also look at it another way too, Andre. That client doesn't want it. Client doesn't want efficiency. You still do it on your side, right? You somehow intercept this and get the efficiency in house. Make more money on your side. Client is going to pay for this inefficient way, but you are giving them the first choice. Doing it this way will bring X, Y, and Z benefit, and we can apply it. You won't even notice. It's just going to make everything efficient. But if they don't want it, with Ilan, you cannot really keep saying, here is more money, and they're saying, I'm not interested. At that point, you just have to go with whatever they decide, and if you can somehow make yourself more efficient, and then do it in-house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to the email, is there maybe something like some words that you would never use or that you think should be rather skipped?
Yes. Yeah, I think I would not ask them the questions, like, because you were asking them questions of why do you think. I think there was one point where you said something like, why would you think? Should there be any limit for things that make our life easier? You know, you were kind of making it more of a philosophical now, and that will that could just rub someone wrong.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's obviously a bit aggressive. Yeah, but to me at that point, the argument from the client was, we have already introduced some new items. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, so I mean, so what? Like, can we introduce even more to make it even better? It's like,
obviously they were not brave enough.
Sorry,
brave enough to take on more. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
not good with.
Well, to me, like at the very beginning, like that is a bit unfortunate. Like, is that something that you would ever reply to a client? Like, probably no.
Probably no, yeah, because you're already starting off with telling them, you know, what bad decisions they're making.
And for example, for like this whole email, like, not that it matters at this point, but I would still like to express my feedback for the record. Is this really just an ego thing? Like, if you already know at some point that nothing will change, or you assume that nothing will change, or 90% nothing will change, would you still say something, or would you just let it go?
You know, I mean, if you wanted to say something, I would just bring in the facts, you know, just saying, I calculated some numbers, just wanted to show you the efficiencies and what benefits they could bring, just for you to maybe review it one more time. But I understand your decision is such and such. You know, so if you started off with that way, that here's some facts, just, you know, give it a look one more time in case, you know, you would still like to pursue this. You know, we're ready to apply that solution.
Okay.
So I would kind of totally skip this. Okay, well, that, you know, it's like that whole part.
No, same. I would stick to the facts, and again, maybe, I mean, remove emotions and no schooling. That's what I want. Fine. I mean.
All right, everyone. That's the end of our pilot episode for a new series called Pimp My Email. If you want to see this series continue, and especially if you want to get personal feedback on your emails and how you could improve your email communication, or if by any chance somebody told you that your email style sucks and you want to make sure what other people think about it, because different people can view words and the style and emails and communication differently. So if you are interested in third or fourth party feedback on your emails, all you have to do is send us your email to this email, and we'll make sure to include it in the future episodes, just like you have seen in this episode. All you have to do is blur out or hide the confidential information, and you can do the same thing for your name, or you can just send a note to me, and you can just simply ask me not to say your name publicly, so we can also make this fully anonymous to make sure that you don't get into trouble. But of course, our whole idea with this series is to make sure that all of us can learn from the emails that we write. So not only we are going to give you a personal feedback, a direct feedback to your emails, but hopefully what we say is also going to help others improve their emails. So if you're interested, make sure to send your email to the email that I already shared before, and stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to our channel And hopefully we'll be back with Vera and Ilan and myself reviewing your emails this time. Bye bye.